can't tell you that I would have ever believed this, but I missed you guys, especially Simmons. First time in like 30 years I hadn't seen you in a while. Anyway, it's great to see you. I hope you and your families are doing well. I know these are disturbing and crazy times for everybody, and just know that we appreciate your time today, but also the support you've given our organization and our community throughout this difficult time. Tom, you've been doing great work on your stories, telling the stories around the food bank, and I appreciate you telling that story. It's powerful. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, RC. So everyone else is on mute. It's just you and I that they can hear, but I can unmute people one by one. And Tom Orsborn, I just unmuted you if you want to pop us off with something right now.
Sure. Thanks for doing this, RC, and thanks for the work you do at the food bank as well. There's been reports that league executives that there are some league executives that would like to just end the season. What's the Spurs stance on that? Where do you guys fall?
Hold on just a second. I was trying to turn up the volume here, so I can. Okay. Our position all along is we want to do what's right for the league and for the fans. The indications and every indication that we've had, I just got off a team president's call before I jumped on with you guys, and every intention is to return to play and to try to create the best environment we can for the league and for the fans, and we're all on board for that.
Thank you, RC. Once again, if you guys hit manage participants on the bottom and you scroll over your name, there's a raise hand function. I assume that we don't want to just get called on like this is class. Jackie from Rivard Report, go ahead. 1 second. All right, you're unmuted.
Hey, RC, thanks for talking to us today. Just wanted to ask, though, as far as opening up games for people, is that something you guys are anticipating fans can come back, or are we looking at something like the Major League Baseball people are thinking no fans but still playing?
We're having those discussions with the league, and a lot of that, most of those discussions will be league-wide determinations on how we present our games at the point in time when we do present our games. So there's a committees going on both from the sporting side, from the media side, from the arena operations side, from the ownership side, from team presidents. There's so much conversation right now about how we can best engage our games and our fans, and no decisions have been made.
Thank you, sir. Chris Duell, ticket 760 WAI 1200. Go ahead.
RC, thanks so much for having us. We appreciate it. You just mentioned the fans a couple of times and wanting to do what's right for the fans. What would be your message to the fans right now? You know, they're in a holding pattern as well. They love the Spurs. They look forward to the next time they can see the Spurs play. What would you like to say to the fans?
I think our message is for the fans is the same message that we have for our community and our nation. We miss everybody, and I think we're all probably in that space. This is uncharted territory. We would love to be able to interact with our community in a safe environment, and I think the league's mission is to do that once we have all the information that we need to be able to accomplish that in a way that protects our fans, our players, our staffs, the whole operations that go, our media that go into how we present our game and how we compete.
Thank you. Scott Bailey, San Antonio Business Journal. Go ahead.
RC, thank you. Many thanks for taking the time, man. What, if anything, have you guys been able to do so far in terms of planning process, arena-wise, be it the condensed seating capacity, be it concessions, be whatever it may be that you guys contemplate change-wise once fans come back? And the second part of that, how has this hiatus impacted what would traditionally be a time you guys would already be looking at recruiting, renewals, sponsors, season tickets for next season?
So as far as the modeling that's going on around the way the game's being played and the environment that we're playing in, it's being modeled by both internally and at the league level in multiple scenarios. And I think until we can continue to gather more information, until there's clarity on what's best for our fans, for our players, and the environment that we create, no decisions have been made. But we're modeling those across multiple sectors. And then we're doing what we can to support our fans, to support our partners in ways that we can. HEB, Frost Bank, USAA, the people that are doing amazing work in our community, the Haven for Hope, Food Bank, all kinds. I'll leave out some, and it's not by intention, but there are people that are doing amazing work, and I think we're trying to do what we can to amplify their work, amplify their stories, help them in ways that we can when we can't be in a position to have our fans come to us. We're trying to figure out ways that we can go to our fans, go to our partners, go to the community in ways to create value and to help them in times of need. But I think our community has gotten recognized around the world for the great work that we do when we come together.
On 2021?
Again, we're working through this as we go, and there's discussions about all kinds of our future plans. But again, I don't think any decisions that we make now don't just impact the remainder of this season. They have a future focused activation plan that will have impact long reaching. You know, depending on when the seasons come back, that could have futures in impact in future seasons as well. So we're looking at this more of a long-term plan than just answering immediate questions.
Thank you.
Hector Ledesma, Sports Tonight, go ahead.
RC, thanks for the time. In the league looking to return to play, is it too early to tell if the league would resume with the season where it left off? Or would there be a condensed, final portion of the regular season? Or is it too early to tell what that would look like, a return to the NBA season?
Until we are clear on the timing for a safe environment, it's impossible to designate these are the individual scenarios that might happen. But we're modeling multiples of scenarios that have not only our teams, our league, our players, our media partners. There are multiples of people at those tables having those decisions, and we hope we'll do what's best for our fans. I think we all know, not only in our community, in our region, but around the country and around the world, people are missing sports, and we're missing playing. So I think that's the problem we're trying to solve.
Matt Tynan from The Athletic, you're up.
Thanks for doing this.
Hey, Matt.
I was curious how you guys have been able to keep up with players, whether it's through video conferencing, stuff like that, keeping them prepared for the season should it resume, whether it's through film or just general communication. Have you guys been able to do that on a consistent basis?
Is that a Nuggets hat you got on?
No. It's I know it kind of looks like it, but it's a.
I wasn't going to answer if it was a Nuggets hat, but our coaching staff and our performance team were really creative and really proactive early on in this process. The front office, the performance team, the coaches got together and really set systematically set up opportunities that we can get with our guys and help them during this time. We had no idea what we were going into. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered around that before there's a safe environment for our players to return to get back together. But there have been virtual workouts. Anthony Falzone's been in 15 different garages over the iPads, helping guys work out together. We've had players in different locations working out together. We've had team virtual calls and communications, which getting Pop on a virtual call was the biggest challenge we faced so far during the hiatus. But I think our group's been really creative in keeping the team as connected as we can be, at the same time maintaining safe environments and sheltering from home.
Jeff McDonald, San Antonio Express News. Go ahead.
How's it going?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm okay. I was just curious, kind of piggybacking off that, where the players are for the most part. Are they in town, out of town, and also how you monitor them health-wise during this time?
You know, we're having systematically timed calls with everybody, or virtual meetings with everybody. Most of our group is in market. I think we've been really fortunate that a big percentage of our group has been in market. We've had virtual workouts. We've had virtual rehabilitation sessions. So guys who are fighting through injuries are doing virtual rehabilitations. We've had coaching and video sessions. And so I think there's, when we're not all together, I think they've done a good job of staying connected.
And I know the league mentioned last week that they were targeting maybe a May 8th date to open the practice facilities. Do you have any plans to open the facility at that time if the league clears it?
We're going to make that decision as we get more information, as we have more data around our own local environment as well as the national environment, and doing what we can to create a safe place for the team to come back together. So we're not putting any dates on it. It's going to be more how we get the information that we need to be comfortable to provide the right atmosphere for our players.
John Elizondo, WOAI 4 News. Go ahead.
RC, when it comes to trying to figure out the approach going forward, what has kind of been the mindset of the front office right now, in the sense of preparing for a draft, the agency, and things like that, since the schedule of the season will likely be pushed back if there is a continuation of the season, and that would probably have any kind of effect that it could have on the off season?
So again, scenario planning has been really important, and our front office has continued to prepare for the draft, for free agency, for team building as we normally would be during this time. But there isn't a target. There are no target dates. There are more target responsibilities, and there's still questions unknown. We just got the early entry candidates list in the last couple of days. That at least gives some kind of clarity on who the draft pool will be. But from there now, we don't have clarity on a Chicago pre-draft or medicals or all the things that go along with draft preparation yet. It was interesting to watch the NFL draft and to share some of the learnings that we found observing there, depending on where we might find ourselves at a later time. They had at least had the opportunity to have their combine before the hiatus started. So we're working through the places that we need to fill gaps right now.
Jason Minix, ESPN 1250 Radio. You're up.
Appreciate it, Jordan. RC, thanks for doing this. Anybody on the Spurs roster or staff that works with the players, any positive COVID tests?
We're not going to comment on that. Throughout our organization, we're not going to comment on that.
Thank you. Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News.
Hey, RC. You had just mentioned the NFL draft, and I guess one thing that they have going for them is they're still kind of on a normal schedule in their year, whereas you have a season going on, and this is also kind of when off-season stuff would be for teams out of the playoffs. I'm just wondering how you're kind of balancing that. And you mentioned earlier to John's question, but is it fair to say that this is the time of year when you're doing a lot of usual off-season type of stuff and planning?
That thing goes on all the time, but in particular, you just got through March Madness. The Portsmouth, the PIT, the Portsmouth Invitational is normally in April. You've got the Nike Hoop Summit that would be this time, and then early May is when the draft combine is. So there's quite a bit of that that's going on during this time of the year.
And before this even started, there had been owners out there that had talked about changes to the NBA calendar long term. Is there any chance that that could be considered moving forward, that the whole NBA calendar permanently could be changed?
Again, those are decisions that will be made at a league level. I think there are all kinds of discussions going on now, but we recognize whatever decisions we make currently are going to have an impact on more than just the current season. So again, they're modeling significant scenarios. There are media partners that have an influence in those decisions, as well as just teams and league personnel. There are players that, the Players Association would have opinions around that. So those scenarios are being modeled, and the decisions will be made ultimately by the Board of Governors.
Thanks, RC.
The one thing I would say, though, from now on, I'm doing our draft on Jerry's boat. That's a pretty good setup.
Do you have a boat?
Not like that. I got a little boat that you float in your bathtub.
Thanks, Mike. David Flores, Kens5.com. You're up.
RC, thanks. Thank you, George. Thanks for the time, RC. I want to just ask you a little bit about, I know that Jeff already asked you about the opening of the workout facility, but I saw when the league announced it, they said that it would be in areas with relaxed social distancing guidelines, RC. And does that, I guess, does Texas, would San Antonio fall under that? I guess it would, huh, since Abbott's kind of relaxed the situation. I just want some elaboration on that.
The only thing I would say in that respect is that state and community guidelines aren't always the same, and so we'll be reviewing those with the data that we have.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think they've opened up tattoo parlors yet, so TJ won't be getting a tattoo, but could be soon.
Okay. Michael Wright, NBA.com. Go ahead.
RC, you kind of finishing up the first year on the job, man. Are you doing anything like on the prospect evaluation side, like what you did previously?
I think we're all focused on a multitude of issues. First of all, the return to play opportunities for this season, and then supporting the front office and the coaches as I can as we prepare for the draft, as we prepare for free agency. So yeah, they're stuck with me getting in the way, I'm sure, way too many places.
Back to Jeff McDonald.
I've got two more that are sort of unrelated. First of all, at the top of this thing, you kind of mentioned the Spurs want to return to play when it's safe. What's the concern level for players, not COVID related, but just how long it would take to sort of for players such as LaMarcus Aldridge, some of your older players, to kind of ramp up to that? How much time do you think it would take after 2 months off to get back in a situation where they'd be able to safely play games, just in terms of like soft tissue injuries and stuff like that?
Jeff, you're asking about issues that we've been ideating about for a month, and I've been included on a competition advisory group, and that's a big point of emphasis for that group. How can we create an environment that is for our players to return to play in. And that's not just COVID related. It's, even in times, past times where there might have been a lockout, players were able to get together and practice and play around. Where we sit right now, this is uncharted territory. And I would guess that there are many of these guys that have never gone 2 months without being able to get into a gym. I mean, that's the feedback that we've gotten not only within our team, but across the league and in the conversations. Can you imagine Manu not playing for 2 months? It's just, I just use him as an example, but it's I know, conversations with DeJounte and Lonnie and Derek and the whole crew, everybody's dying to get into and dribble a ball. And so, but I do think that it won't be just, we can't just, blow a whistle and 10 days later think that we're going to put our players in an environment that is safe to return from the time that they've had away.
And the other question I had is very early in this shutdown, the ownership group announced plans to keep paying the part-time employees, the hourly employees, to the end of the season. I was wondering if that continues into May, or is that something you guys are still weighing at this point?
We took care of that staff through the end of the season.
Tom Osborne, San Antonio Express News. Go ahead.
Just to follow up on that, Jeff's question, have you had to make any furloughs, any pay reductions, any layoffs? And if not, how have you avoided that?
I'm not an accountant, so I can't tell you how we've avoided it, but we have not made any staffing changes at this time. And I think we'll continue to review the realities of the situation as we go forward.
Thank you.
Scott Bailey, San Antonio Business Journal.
Hey, RC. I mean, obviously these are uncharted times, but when you get to 2021, I mean, how are you going to draw? How are you going to balance sensitivity and the need to do business, the need to get season ticket holders, to get sponsors? How do you guys navigate that fine line moving forward?
Scott, I don't think we have enough information to know what that, there's no definition to that until we know the playing status of the league, until we know the circumstances around community health. And there's just a lot of information that doesn't give us clarity on when those dates could happen. Vaccines, all the different things that will have an impact on how we not even look at sports, but as we live our lives going forward. If you've got the new normal figured out, will you make sure and let us know? And I think that's that question has, not question, but we're going to be solving that for days and months to come.
Matt Tynan, The Athletic, go ahead.
See, I'm kind of piggybacking off of what both Mikes asked earlier. This is normally the time where you get the one-on-ones physically, the interviews and everything like that with prospects in the NBA draft. Is there any contact with any of these guys in any way virtually, or how have you approached the situation in a way, obviously, that's unprecedented, but in a way that you normally would?
We've been active participants in the strategic conversations with the league on how this could happen when it happens best. There is a large group of players, the early entry candidates, that we're not allowed to have any contact with until the announcement of the candidates, which was just happened this week. There are the senior candidates that are already eligible for the draft that were available for virtual interviews. So it's really probably going to be a staged process. We still don't have a solution around medicals and in-person activation at all. But it's not just our industry, it's the world.
Back to Jackie Wayne, Rivard Report. Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi, just a few quick questions in succession just to make sure I got these right. So legally speaking, can the stadium reopen under the state and local stay-at-home orders that were issued this week, or is that something that you're still trying to figure out?
I think no legal decisions have been made yet. I think our focus, whether legal or not, our decisions will be heavily influenced by the safety of fans, the safety of our staff, the safety of players, and everybody that's associated with putting on events. The campus has been or the arena grounds have been a great point to carry out some really unique opportunities through our community with the testing that was going on site and other areas of the grounds, the fairgrounds that have been able to be used to help the community. But from an event standpoint, our first bar is it safe?
And the competition advisory group that you had referenced earlier, is that an NBA, like people from different teams are coming together to discuss how best to open up the league again?
Correct.
Okay. Last question, how do virtual workouts work? Is the whole team just on the same Zoom call?
That's maybe not the whole team. I don't know if we could get a dozen guys, but we're bringing groups together, a lot of them in their garage or their living rooms that have turned into a gym now. But it's really just a virtual conversation with Anthony Falzone going crazy.
Thank you.
We got time for two more since RC is not a rookie to Zoom and he has been on many of these meetings. I've seen a lot of them personally. Two more, we'll get to David Flores. Ken's 5 first. Go ahead.
Yeah. RC, because of that great story that you mentioned earlier about my buddy Tom Osborne with your work with the food bank, I want to commend you and your son for all the work that you've done. But at this, I guess I'd just like to ask you, what would you tell? This is a good opportunity. What would you tell folks in San Antonio, the thousands that are really hurting? You've seen the lines of cars and picking up food boxes and stuff like that. What would you say to them, RC, about just that situation?
This situation transcends sports, and I don't think that there's anything that any of us could have done to understand the impact of COVID, nor the way it can bring communities together. And I think we've seen that through the leaders in our community and through the city and the county leadership in the way that people have stepped up to provide for in areas of need. And Eric Cooper and the food bank and Haven for Hope, having been connected to those guys, I'm not sure if anybody has outperformed them in our community or around the world. I don't know where it is, and I know Eric hasn't slept in a month, in weeks. But their commitment to doing the best that we can for the community in need has just been unmatched, and the support that they've received from industries and individuals, I think, is what makes the San Antonio-Austin region really special.
Sorry, we got two more. We'll go to Mike Taylor, ticket 760. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, RC.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, you said earlier that guys were chomping at the bit to get into the gym. Have you met any issues where guys are worried to get into the gym? How are you guys easing guys?
What?
How are you easing players' fears? Like, are there any players that are like worried? You said guys were chomping at the bit to get into the gym, but are guys kind of worried about getting into the gym? Are there guys that are still kind of afraid and apprehensive? And what do you tell them if they are?
The first thing we tell them is your safety is our top priority. And so we're going to do everything we can at the appropriate time to create an environment that they can be comfortable in, that they can come to work and work out and grow. It's also voluntary now, so there is no mandated. There will be no mandated a participation at a point in time we do go back in the gym. We're really trying to provide for their not only physical but mental health in the best way that we can.
Last one, Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News, wrap us up.
RC, just wondering how much Pop's technological literacy has improved during the last month or so.
I know he knows how to use a cell phone still. I'm not sure outside of that, but he has gotten onto a virtual call or multiple virtual calls. And I think so. I'll let you ask him that when we get him back in the gym.
What has been the most enjoyable thing that y'all have done as a group? And would you say that the morale, Pop in particular, but just the team as a whole, that it's still getting along well through this?
Yeah, I think, this is something that has just a tendency to bring people together. And I don't know that we could have asked for a group that has stayed committed to each other like this group has. And I think the influences of, our coaches, our performance team, and being proactive and getting ahead of the activities that we needed to take care of to put these guys in the best position. And then their love of the game and their love of the fans. I think it's been fun to see them engage with our community in their own way virtually. And I think I would bet it also has created internal drive to be able to get together as a team. When you play a game one night and the next night you're all sent home, that really has a way of wanting to bring you back together.
Appreciate it, RC.
Thank you very much, RC. That we appreciate the time. If you have any last remarks, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank you all for helping us be our voice in the community. I think we've all seen Mayor Nuremberg and Judge Wolf and our community partners step up in ways in maybe nothing like this we'll ever see in our lifetimes, to step up in ways to take care of our community, and the storytelling that you all have shared throughout our communities, I think is really powerful in ways that we continue to grow. Organizationally, our one SS&E team, I've been so proud of the way that they've come together, how they've worked together and collaborated together and created new ideas. We just went through a challenge amongst the group over the last week to come up with 2,000 new ideas in 1 week's time on how we could improve as an organization. And I thought that seemed like a lot. Our group blew past it. And I was so proud to see the way people got outside of their comfort zones and came up with some really interesting ideas that I'm excited to be able to carry forward with, both while we can't be with our fans and especially once we get back into a sold out AT&T Center. So thank you guys for your time, and thanks for continuing to represent our team and our community.
Thank you very much, RC. We want to appreciate all the media that came out today. We really appreciate you guys jumping on. Like I said, we've been recording the whole thing. I will turn that video and audio over and send it to everyone that's on this call momentarily. But thank you very much, everyone, and stay safe and happy.
Thanks for your time, guys. Mike, good to see you.